and welcome to the Construction Financial Management Association's Chat with the Chairman. I'm your host, CFMA Chairman Kevin Booth. Today I'm sitting down with Vice President of Finance and Administration for SSC Underground and Chairman of the Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention's Michelle Walker. Thank you for stopping by to chat with me today, Michelle.
Happy to be here. Great to see you, Kevin.
I know you just recently celebrated becoming a United States citizen. You're from Canada originally, correct?
I am. I grew up in Slave Lake, Alberta, which is a small town about 2,000 miles directly north of here in Phoenix, where I live now, Valley of the Sun. Give my shout out to my chapter. It's a small town of about 6,000 people. My high school graduating class had about 70 people in it. So, but it's appropriate that I've landed in construction and spent my career here. I grew up, the town was a really blue collar oil town. So kind of been around the trades my whole life, and my dad was a general contractor who built custom homes. So I spent my summers filling glamorous jobs, working in basements, primarily shoveling sand and installing insulation and all those fun things that only the owner's kid gets stuck doing. So I've really grown up in construction my whole life and have spent my whole career in it.
Oh, that's great. That's a good background. Well, I can't talk about Canada without giving a shout out to my extended family in Canada. So to Marky and Dan, hi there. Now, I don't want to be presumptuous, but growing up in Canada, is it safe to say that you're a hockey fan?
I am. I'm not as much as I was living there. Hockey in the desert is just different than hockey in Canada. When you grow up in Canada watching hockey, it's just different. But yeah, so Edmonton was 3 hours from where I grew up and where I went to university. And so growing up in Alberta during the heyday of Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier and that whole kind of dynasty team, I definitely was an Oilers fan and a huge Wayne Gretzky fan. In college, I actually lived about a block away from the church he got married in. And the day that he got married, it was kind of like basically a royal wedding in Edmonton and in Alberta. So definitely grew up an Oilers fan, and I still remember vividly the day that he got traded to the Kings, and that was a sad day in history.
Well, it was a good day for Kings fans. I was a Kings fan back then. So. Well, and my condolences to the Oilers, by the way.
I know. Yeah.
So sorry.
Hometown and couldn't pull through.
Yeah, that has to hurt being that they're playing in Edmonton right now.
Right. Yeah.
So you get to watch the rest of the play, and the Stanley Cup's going to be played there. So,
exactly. So yeah. So at least the Coyotes are still in, and your Knights are still in. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Well, growing up in Canada, so did you play any hockey or any other sports?
I did not play hockey. I broke my arm ice skating when I was 6 years old, I think, and I never liked the ice again ever after that. And I prefer non-contact sports, so I did cheerleading and dance growing up, and then about 12 years ago, I took up distance running, and that's been my thing ever since. So I don't know if you can see behind me, but I've done 5 full marathons and several half marathons. And someday I still hope to channel my inner Samantha Hutchinson and qualify for Boston and run that. But I haven't accomplished that so far. But she's got a whole theory and scheme for kind of working the age group. So I'm going to try to put her methods to work here soon.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Well, speaking of running, I just recently signed up for CFMA's virtual run for suicide prevention. Are you going to be running virtually as well?
Of course, absolutely. And the whole thing, it's such a great way to promote Suicide Prevention Month. And the suicide prevention efforts are just so thankful for CFMA's kind of undying support. It all started with CFMA, and they just continue to be such a huge contributor to the efforts. So thanks to them.
Yeah, certainly. Well, you've been involved with CFMA's suicide prevention efforts almost from the beginning. Matter of fact, Valley of the Sun held the first Suicide Prevention Summit, which paved the way for many summits to come after that. Tell us how the Construction Industry Alliance for Suicide Prevention came to be.
Sure. So like you said, I've been involved kind of from the start, from Cal bringing the initial idea to the Building Profits magazine, and then the summit that came after that, and working with the group here in Phoenix. And then after that, we recognized that there definitely was a need and an interest within our CFMA community. So that's where, some other summits started being planned around the country. And we realized pretty quickly that was great, but we were kind of only targeting this one segment of the construction market by by just working with the CFOs, and the message was so big that we needed to get it out more broadly. So we had started talking about how to do that, and decided that a great way to do that would be to bring other construction associations into the fold, to have them start sharing the message similar to what CFMA had been doing. And so we were kind of having those discussions early 2016 following our summit. And then we actually met at the conference in San Antonio, kind of had our first planning meeting, and decided to kind of formally create this committee that would be kind of more of an external facing committee for CFMA, to bring others into these efforts. And so we did that, and that was like at the end of June with the conference. And then July 1st, the CDC released the study that formally ranked construction and occupations as the most at risk for suicide deaths. So we really had the ball rolling, and that, study definitely validated our efforts and kind of gave us great, I think, more credibility to go out to the industry more broadly, to ask for their support and involvement in addressing this. So that's kind of how it got started, and then it's just evolved, continued to evolve from there.
That's fantastic. Well, for anyone who's interested in getting more involved, what can they do to help?
Sure. So it started as the CFMA committee, and it remained that for the first 2.5 years. And then in 2018, we formally became a separate 501c3 organization. So it's separate from CFMA now, but we still have the CFMA still has a suicide prevention committee that kind of is a liaison a bit between the CIASP and the CFMA membership, so that we can get the information to the members and ways for them to get involved. So step one would be make sure that your chapter is engaging with that committee. So we're asking for people to become chapter champions and for chapters to take the pledge. The way that the CIASP engages, we call them stakeholders. We don't really ever call people members, because we don't exclude any of our resources from anybody. They're all available to the entire industry, whether we know who you are or whether you ever give us anything in return. We want, these are life-saving resources, so we want them to be available to everybody. So, but we do ask people to take a pledge if they're willing, organizations to take a pledge that says that they're going to stand up for suicide prevention. They're going to create safe environments. They're going to provide training. They're going to help build awareness, normalize the conversation to ultimately decrease the risk of suicide. So that's what the STAND acronym stands for. And so we ask people to take that pledge on our website so that they can engage. And so while we ask companies and businesses and different people to do that, we also ask CFMA chapters to do that. So that's a great way to kind of get involved and make sure that you're representing, showing the industry that CFMA, not just nationally, but as a whole organization in all of our chapters, is adopting this. And so if you're passionate about it, make sure that your chapter is doing that. Sign up to be a chapter champion, so you can talk to people at headquarters to get more information about what that means to be a chapter champion, and kind of make sure that that message is getting out there. And then get your own organization involved, so the company that you work for. And companies of all types, contractors obviously are a direct conduit to the workforce, but we have CPA firms and insurance providers and bonding agents, and everybody that we work with in the industry. Everybody has a role to play in carrying this message. And so we would just encourage everybody to take the pledge. The website for our organization is preventconstructionsuicide.com. And so that's how to get directly there, but there's also links on the CFMA site. And then I guess I would just encourage everybody, the time is right and now to do it, because September is Suicide Prevention Month. And so we have a really great campaign planned to engage people through Suicide Prevention Month and give you tools to really engage your workforce and stuff. So make sure that you get signed up so that we are sure to get those resources into your hands from everybody who's taken the pledge. But CFMA will have those available as well, and I'm sure be pushing them out to members. So lots of great opportunities to get involved, and lots of great resources out there. So we're all about kind of equipping people to make this an easy adoptable thing and not something that requires a lot of work from people. So go to the website, check out the resources, take the pledge, and just get engaged.
Sounds good. And the website again is?
preventconstructionsuicide.com.
Great. We want to make sure everybody gets that. And as always, Valley of the Sun leading the way. Valley of the Sun was the first chapter to take the pledge. And I know recently the Las Vegas chapter also took the pledge. So
Yes,
between
thank
both
you.
of us, we're going to pressure all the other chapters out there to make sure you take the pledge as well. So
We
thank you for
represent
that.
2/3 of the chapters who have taken the pledge. So there's a lot of room for others to join in.
Yeah, that's good news, bad news. 2/3,
Yeah.
but that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I tell you what, those are all great resources that you mentioned that are available at preventconstructionsuicide.com. You know, for all of you that are watching, all of our audience right now, we'd like to hear from you. You know, what are you doing to engage in suicide prevention? In the comment section below here, you know, please give us some comments and let us know what you're doing to be more engaged in suicide prevention. We'd love to hear from you. Well, sadly, Michelle, this is our time. I really want to thank you for stopping by to chat with me today. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And personally, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. You know, earlier this year, I interviewed Anirban Basu here with Chat with the Chairman, and I mentioned that Anirban's one of the busiest people I know. You're also in that pool of the busiest people I know. And you know, I thank you for the countless volunteer hours that you put in. You're such a tremendous asset to CFMA, to CIASP, and to our industry. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Thanks so much, Kevin. It's an honor, and I can't wait till we can all be together and see each other again in person.
Yes, looking forward to that soon here. Well, if you enjoyed today's video, those of you watching, please make sure you hit the like button down below. And while you're there, subscribe to CFMA's YouTube channel so you can get updates on our latest videos as they're released. And join me next month here on Chat with the Chairman, when I'll be sitting down with Wayne Newitt's of Viewpoint. Until then, stay safe. Take care now.
Bye, everybody.